I like yours, except I can't equate I just had sex and a chipmunk, which is a cute childlike character in the same category.
What about sex? They're cheeky. Chipmunks are cheeky.
So, like squirrels, I would believe that. Hamsters, I would. How dare you have something?
Yeah, we're in like little vermin territory.
Yeah.
It can
Yeah.
The person who I plan to give the points on is the person whose answer I thought was the worst, and then
What?
I'll say it. I'm gonna win a point with that attitude.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I'm excited. it wasn't it was a where do I start?
Plot Armor! Welcome to this episode of Plot Armor, the show where we fight hard but fight fair to answer stupid questions about the movies you love, hate, or have never even heard of. I'm your host, Vincent. Let's meet our amazing contestants. To my left, from Chicago roots to South African skies, he's chasing stories with a thinker's eyes, aspiring filmmaker with questions that linger. Give it up for Duncan Machete. Welcome, Duncan.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
Yeah, no, go for it.
You guys would not let me say no. Like as
Yes.
much as, and I wanted to do the podcast, but I was just nervous, and you guys were like, "No, we're gonna convince him." So
100%.
Here I am.
Yeah, we literally cornered him in the kitchen. We work at the same place, little behind the scenes fun fact.
Yeah.
And Caleb and I are like, let's just catch him in the alleyway and gun to his head, say yes, and here he is.
Felt like Batman's parents.
No, it's, yeah, let's hope you don't get, well, he doesn't get shot. Let's hope your parents don't die today. Then, next to Duncan, from the video store to the bioscope's glow, he's a voice for film and indie shows. Give it up for Russell Grant. Russell, amazing to have you on.
Thanks. That was very poetic.
Thank you very much. I love well-written things, so please impress me with fighting for well-written things. Please tell us about yourself. I will admit that I'm a big fan of the Bioscope and even bigger fan of the video store. So tell us a bit about that.
Thanks. Yeah, the Bioscope is proudly been Johannesburg's alternative independent cinema space for 15 years now.
Wow.
Which is
Recent anniversary,
very
right?
exciting. Yeah. And out of the cinema, we wanted to have some kind of a outlet to discuss what we're showing and other stuff at home. So we started the video store, which has been going for about 2 years now.
Wow.
As a podcast.
Yeah, and it's really good. I really implore you listeners to go listen to it. I mean, it's one of the biggest movie podcasts in South Africa, right?
Yeah, it's done well, and we won some awards at the
awesome.
South African Podcast Awards. But it's really, honestly, just about me getting to go and watch movies with my friends
100%.
and to talk about it, which is great.
Which is the reason we do this. And then last but definitely not least, from Kissing Booth charm to Ring of Beasts might, he's owned the screen and shaped the light. Give it up for the Cameron Scott.
Hey.
Welcome, Cameron.
Dude, I echo that. Was a really cool introduction. Like their actor, yes.
Yes, he's the one with the focused on. So please tell us about yourself. I mean, people will recognize your face amongst a wide variety of films and short films, but you can tell us a bit more.
Sure. So, thank you for that awesome intro. I think for me, I'm an actor and a producer and a writer. I'd say definitely more the writer-producer in recent years. Just have a real deep heart and passion to just see epic stuff come from Africa.
Yes.
Not just for Africa, but for around the world as well. And so that's the mission that I'm on. I love film. I love movies. And I'm really excited for what we're doing here today. So
now that's awesome. And I can 100% champion the thing of bringing creativity out of Africa for a global audience. We stand for decentralized creativity where anyone with an idea can go and chase it. Thank goodness for digital and easy editing software making it more possible than ever. So we love people like you and love what you stand for. So let's quickly look at the rules for those who aren't familiar with it. The rules are simple. 3 contestants face off over 5 debate topics. Each round runs 10 minutes and the host awards a point to the most passionate debater, the one with the sharpest argument and fiercest rebuttal. After 5 rounds, the top 2 scorers enter the speed round showdown. 5 rapid-fire questions with just 20 seconds to argue and 15 seconds to rebut. The overall winner gets crowned main character of the episode, while the other gladiators fade into obscurity as the extras. Before we begin, you'll see you have these lovely ginger-flavored colored mocktails in front of you, so you're welcome to have a sip of that and taste that. Don't forget to stir as instructed by its creator.
Stirred, not shaken.
Exactly. So this is the Good Times mocktail because there is time in it. And it's a ginger thyme based mocktail. We specifically made sure Caleb's not on this episode because he would struggle with the ginger, but we drink it for you in spirit, brother.
Yo, it's been so cold. This is a boost to the immune system.
Exactly, right? Now we're going to leave you all healthy. So shout out to Tibadine for their amazing mocktails and being a sponsor of the show. We're going to ask epic questions today. Questions relating to animal musician biopic combos. We're going to ask questions about which movies aliens should watch. But I think there's no better place to start than question 1. I struggle to think of another film studio that garners the same amount of respect from filmmakers and lovers the way that A24 does. They either only deliver hits or are very good at hiding the misses. I wanted to make a joke about hiding the misses, but I am a happily married man, so I won't. So let's celebrate them by asking, what's the greatest A24 film of all time? And we will start with Cameron.
Okay, there are so many great A24 films. I think I always like making the distinction out the gate, the difference between a film and a movie. A movie being for almost entertainment and amusement mostly, and a film being something that teaches you or makes you think about things in a different way that you wouldn't have normally. They're more artistic. Can the two merge? Yes, and I believe that's the cinema experience. But A24's catalog is very vast and a very powerful arsenal. But unbelievably, undeniably, Everything Everywhere All at Once is the greatest A24 movie for several reasons, which I can unpack throughout this course. I should do so now?
Let's hear from the others and then you can break it through.
But Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Awesome definitely. Answer. And next we will hear from Russell.
There's so many, but there's one for me that stands out as a absolute shining gem amongst all those others. Everything Everywhere All at Once, it deserves its praise and it got its Oscars, but there's a shining little gem in that list, which is 8th Grade. And it's one of the most powerful, most moving films I've ever seen. And I think it's the most important thing like a parent could watch. And I'll get into that.
I love that answer.
8th Grade.
It's a great answer. And finally, Duncan, give us your answer.
My favorite, I would say it's the greatest A24 film for me, being a horror buff, would be Hereditary. Wait, no, it was Midsummer.
It was Midsummer, but
my bad. Same director, I got the names mixed up. Midsummer, my bad. Hereditary is not for everyone. Let's get that clear. But Midsummer, it's a great movie because that was the movie that I had already known that A24 was a thing, and there was this thing called the A24 aesthetic with the film grain and everything. But that was the thing that really cemented the idea that A24 was a force to be reckoned with in the film industry.
I really love that. Guys, fight it out. Let's hear some more.
Is there any particular order that we go? Or?
No, just go for it. Now it's free fall.
Okay, well, Duncan's already at a disadvantage because he said Hereditary.
Same director.
We'll forgive you.
Guys. And I was recently watching Hereditary.
That's like the Oscars when they said the winner is La La Land, and it's actually Moonlight.
Don't call me Steve Harvey, guys. Come on.
I found Russell's answer to be really, really interesting. I hadn't even heard of 8th Grade before.
Yeah. So what's so surprising and incredible about it, and once you kind of know who made it, it almost gets even better.
Bo
Burnham. So Bo Burnham is a ridiculous comedian.
Really?
He's a silly comedian, but he's very smart. He made this incredible comedy special during lockdown where it was just him in a room. And it's very silly, but it's very meticulous and it's very smart humor. But 8th Grade is not about humor at all.
At all.
It is, you are spending the days and the time in the mind and the soul, really, of this young girl.
Yeah.
As she is living in clearly this TikTok world where she's got this pressure, and 8th Grade is her moving from what the Americans call middle school, which is effectively our end of primary, into high school. But something, and you get these in movies often where you get so put into the body of your character that you're living through this. Something as simple as going to a pool party where she's got to leave the bathroom, where she's now in her swimming costume, and she's got to get to the pool, for her is the most scary and horrific thing to do, because she's this young girl she's not pretty, she's not unattractive, but she's in this body that's changing and growing
Yeah.
and you forget, now that we're all much older, we forget how important and crazy something like a pool party would be, or a house party when you were in primary school, or falling in love and teasing and bullying. And so when you are so successfully in this head, you are reminded of what it's like to be that age. And so that's why the moment I finished watching it, I told my sister, who's a little older than me, who's got a daughter, I was like, watch this movie so that you are just reminded of what your like daughter is going through right now.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was so sweet and so beautiful and so powerful, and so it catches you by such surprise, because Bo Burnham is this kind of silly comedian.
Come, I want to hear more from you guys. Engage. There's only one point to be given.
So wait, we like
You're
make
welcome
our
to go
exposition
over.
now,
Yeah,
or
you
like
can-
do we
You
respond?
can jump
or-
on each other, attack one another's argument.
Okay.
Remember, one must stand and two must fall.
Okay.
Well, can we bash other people's
Yes,
choices?
please do. Please
Okay,
do.
I did, of course, like Midsummer.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a little more like done for the sake of reaction.
Yeah.
Like it was
Also,
like, how do we get a guy and a bear? You know, it's like, you of course don't forget that, but does it unsettle you? Like the first death she sees,
Yeah, of
when
the
they
person-
jump off the
yeah.
cliff, like that's like, oh. But I think by the end you're quite desensitized.
I don't think so. I feel like the greatness of that movie is in the fact that like the director is somebody who perfectly understands what horror is, and like specifically horror that's meant to scare you. I mean, horror is kind of it's a vast genre. Sometimes it's not really meant to scare you. It's just meant to pique perspective or whatever. But that guy perfectly understands horror in a sense that he understands that it's not in the monster itself, it's in the psychology. It's in the suspense of waiting to see exactly what's going on. And that's a great horror movie when there isn't even a monster in the movie. It's literally just the community around you that just, it scares you, and the atmosphere of being around those people in such an isolated environment.
Have you seen Beau is Afraid?
Also, A24 film.
We're not talking about that one. We're not
it's just
talking about
that's
that
a good
one.
example of like such a fever dream, because that's such a vibe.
Yeah.
I fucking hated watching that movie, but
I didn't like it either. I didn't like it either.
but
Not gonna lie.
you cannot forget it. For me, Midsummer was a little more forgettable.
I fell asleep in Midsummer.
How do you fall asleep during Midsummer?
Granted, it was after a night out, and I was pretty tired, and
okay,
everybody
that's
was just
different.
watching this movie, and I was just like, "This is terribly horrific. This is terribly horrific."
No, no.
People in Sam must watch this
phenomenal.
movie. Like Florence Pugh's incredible.
Are you guys horror films?
I
mean,
mean, horror
fans.
movies. So that puts me at a little bit of a disadvantage.
I do struggle.
You know?
I do struggle with them, but I
yeah.
don't even think that that's so much of a horror.
I also don't think so. I think it's more of like a commentary.
It wasn't scary. It was
Yeah.
unsettling.
Very.
It was terrifying.
Very.
I didn't find it
personally, I
I
would
didn't
say
find
it
it
was
terrifying.
terrifying.
I'm not hearing enough about Everything Everywhere All at
Yeah.
Once.
Yeah, so Everything Everywhere All at Once, guys. Okay, I appreciate you both. Okay,
Yeah.
and like 8th grade, dude, was like so. And we're gonna come back and talk about this now after I like kind of like land my arguments here for Everything Everywhere. But when I went into Everything Everywhere, even when I watched the first trailer for it, I just knew that there was going to be something so spectacular about this movie in the way that it not only laid out like an exposition which everybody could connect with and understand, this idea of like family dynamics. Then there's also the aspect of, you know, immigrants and bringing in, you know, cultures that don't necessarily mix, this question of looking back at your life and wondering what has been. And then they just threw in these, Daniel's throwing in these crazy stunts, these crazy visual effects. Then I learned about the production of that film and
It's
how
very punk rock. It's very cool.
The production was impressive. I'll
It
give you
is
that much.
inventive and it is unique and it is such a beautiful mix of everything. I just don't know whether it lives forever.
What do you mean it lives
that.
forever? It was a bagel with everything on it, man. It was a bagel with everything on it. And the reason I say that is because I find that, you know, I walked out of there and I asked myself this question of like, what did that film make me feel? Okay, that film made me feel...
Wrap this into your final argument so you can take this as to finish your thought and touch on them however you want.
Okay. So we're 8th grade for me. laid out this amazing experiential thing of like relating to like, you know, a teenager and being in their mind. And the last scene with the parents also so profound. You know, that scene by the fire when she's kind of going through that cathartic process. But it also made me think, is for most people in America, is that the scariest thing that they will ever do? Right? Whereas like for us in South Africa, there's a lot more that comes a little bit later on in life.
No, but they'll just always be that age. There will always be that kind of transition into adulthood. So that's why I'm just saying that 8th grade will just live on forever.
All I'm saying
it
is,
might not be the most watched or most celebrated, but it has a timelessness where I think Everything Everywhere All at Once is cool and it was a moment. But I think it's not a moment.
Do you if you finish your final thoughts and then I'll give you guys a chance. Go for it.
So my final thoughts on Everything Everywhere. Why I believe that it I'm going to fight the argument that it can live forever, right? Yeah. Is because it earnestly unlocks the potential of understanding a multiverse in a way that I don't think any superhero has been able to do. And it did so in a way that also landed super simply. A conversation between two rocks in an alternative dimension between a mother and a daughter. And as I walked out of there, the reason why it's going to live forever for me is it not only was this massive spectacle of like, you know, visual effects and high end like concepts which are absurd and ridiculous, but I also walked out of there and I thought to myself, all of that could have just happened inside the mother's head. Like as like a way to get away from like the real issues that she was facing in her life. And just by going through that whole interdimensional journey, at the end, she lands in this beautiful place of just being able to reconnect with her daughter, admit that her marriage isn't perfect and she needs to work on it, and that her life is falling apart, basically, you know? So all of that could have just been like a hyper imaginative state. And it just made me like feel how many of us escape into realities that aren't ours, even through movies, the things that we enjoy. In an effort to run away from the real problems of life.
Okay, Duncan, give me your final thoughts.
Oof. The worst part about this kind of question or this kind of category is that I have to fight against A24 films, and I genuinely love all of them. Like I'm actively trying to, you know, find issues, which obviously there's no such thing as a perfect problem. I mean, a perfect film. Yeah. There are problems within all films. And one with Everything Everywhere All at Once is that if I have to look for a problem, it's the fact that it's a very specific type of movie that you have to watch in a very specific type of mood. I often did find myself struggling with how overstimulating it is. That's not something, if I'm in a relaxed mood, I'm not putting on Everything Everywhere All at Once because it's kind of like too much for me. And also the humor is very great, but in future, I feel like it might be a little bit too Gen Z. It might be stuck in its time. Just the concept of an everything bagel. I'm sure like by the time like the culture changes, like just humanity in general in 20 years, it might be like, oh, that is so 2020 right there. Like that is just, it's a product of its time. So that would be my argument against that.
Okay, then give me your final thoughts, touching on anything you want to touch on.
Yeah, I just think 8th grade just cuts through everything and just delivers the most simple but heartfelt and effective story. And that's just the simplicity of it is its strength.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm going to call it there. Time. Darth Vader says it's over. Okay. I'm laughing because one thing I forgot to brief our amazing guest on is there will be a fact check. So if you guys were wondering why Caleb is creeping in at the back, you'll understand shortly. I will call upon the fact checker for some facts.
That's me.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't expecting it. Okay, so this was very much an opinion-based round, but there were some facts. Considering that you just spoke about the wrong person the wrong film to start off with, I did fact check that. You are correct. Both Midsommar and Hereditary were directed by the same
Ari
person.
Aster, yeah.
Ari Aster, yes. Bo Burnham, yes, was filmed entirely in one room and was released in 2021.
Inside,
yes. Fantastic film if you haven't watched it. And then, interesting fact, I just found this interesting because I was doing some fact checking in my own time. None of the films selected here were actually on the top 10 of Rotten Tomatoes at all. In fact, the top film
A24.
of A24. In fact,
not Everything Everywhere.
That's number 18.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's number one?
some
Past
film.
Lives.
I won't lie. No, Past Lives I think is like number 9.
Okay, well.
I will. But
I'm
yeah,
happy it's in number 10.
as of these 3 films, according to Rotten Tomatoes, yours is number 18 being the highest.
That's crazy that there's... Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
That's
Bye-bye.
fine.
That's
Everything everywhere was one below 8th grade.
No.
No.
Everything everywhere is 18th, and all these are lower.
Yeah.
So that's
What's number 1?
What's number 1? And also, what's 8th grade in comparison?
No, that's what we're gonna see now.
I will tell you right now.
Keep looking at it. I'm gonna speak on this.
According to Rotten
go for it.
Tomatoes, the top rated A24 film is On Becoming a Guinea Fowl.
that just came out.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, it just
The
came
second one is Lady Bird.
out. That's not deep.
Come on.
I lied. The third one is 8th grade. I didn't see the title.
Interesting.
Amazing fact check.
Okay, yeah. So
I'm
that's
just going to take a smug sip here.
Oh, man.
Okay, he missed a crucial fact there, but it's fine. We'll forgive him.
I was looking for the number 8, not the letters.
Okay, I will keep this short and to the point. It was a really hard one. Can I just say, my favorite opening argument, funny enough, contrary to popular belief, was Duncan because of how you highlighted the what it meant for A24 and its impact on your life. Unfortunately, you just couldn't carry that Midsummer flag. So it became a thing where it was tied between Russell and Cameron, and I was really struggling between the two. But I think that's where Duncan hit the nail on the head in his breakdown of why maybe Everything Everywhere won't necessarily hold up or gets too complex. I also felt overwhelmed in my first viewing of it. So where 8th grade, I do think stands the test of time, even not understanding the social media dynamics and everything. There's a core concept, a core human element to it, which stands the test of time. And I could see Russell really likes this movie, and for that, it stands out. And can I just say, anyone naming Bo Burnham's Inside or anything Bo Burnham just kind of makes me want to give them points. I love Bo Burnham. He's great. So fantastic job on that. So that's 1 point to Russell, and
Cool.
opportunities
Well
for more to
played, well
catch
played.
up.
It's tough because Everything Everywhere would do well.
Yeah, and also...
And we're going to hear more about it later.
Yeah, I mean,
But I've picked it for other categories.
Yeah, fairness also to 8th graders. Like, it's anybody who's even remotely tried to make a film will understand this.
Yeah.
To give the gravitas of such a simple moment, such buoyancy in an audience, like such stakes. You know, that's a phenomenal feat.
Yeah, to take, because it's something relatable that's made outright terrifying.
Yeah.
But let's go to question 2. Okay. One of the Plot Armors team's favorite movies from the last year is without a doubt Better Man, a masterclass in creative storytelling. But it got us thinking, what if we swapped out Robbie Williams for another artist and a chimp for a different animal? Pitch us a new animal musician biopic combo, and we'll start with Russell.
For me, I really loved the Rescue Rangers film on Disney Plus. That was done in the comedic vibe and the comedic brains of the Lonely Island guys. That like Andy Samberg humor, which is presenting itself as very silly, but it's actually very smart. And so I wanted more of a continuation of that. And so I think the Lonely Island as actual chipmunks would be delightful.
Yeah.
They are cute, they are adorable, they are resourceful animals, and they are smart. And I just think that would be delightful.
Awesome answer. Duncan, let's hear from you.
I chose One Direction as geese. The reason being is that if I were to actually think about, because One Direction, I was never into that when I was a kid until let me speak. let me speak. Until I was no, he's giving me a specific look that's like no. When they first blew up, I was at an age where, you know, boys just hate Justin Bieber because I don't know, we're just supposed to hate him.
Because they're not Justin Bieber.
The girls like him, the boys are supposed to hate him. And then you reach an age where you just mature enough to say, hey, I don't think anyone really cares what I'm listening to, so I can listen to whatever I want. And then that's when I start listening to like gangster rap and Glee, the soundtrack at the same time, because I'm nuanced like that. And One Direction, they're such a pinnacle act of that era. And I was thinking to myself, if I had to ever make a biopic of their life, I feel like Geese would probably, in some weird way, they would be what's what I'm looking for. They would represent them very well in a sense that every year geese have to fly to a different pole. One Direction, if I were to make a story about their lives, it would be about the transition from being a group of average boys flying to the new world where their lives are going to change drastically. And once they finally reach that destination, what happens? They go their separate ways.
That's
feel like
interesting. I like that answer. Cam.
Mine was something that I just pulled the trigger on as an impulse immediately, which I'm sure you guys have seen, which is Aerosmith as like an aviary or like a group of birds. You know, particularly birds of paradise. You know, the ones that are like you found deep in the Amazon. And the reason is because the similarities, if you think about it, are actually quite striking between 80s rock bands and birds of paradise. Like they both have the hair that just flares up in all directions, right? They both have this kind of like, you know, sweaty, shirtless franciness, you know, and both sing, like genuinely, like, you know, birds sing. It's the first thing that we hear in the morning, you know, and like, I think there's a timelessness to that era of rock, you know, which I think kind of echoes throughout the generations. You know, we still today, you know, with so much having changed in the world, the saying that like, you know, rock stars never die is still as prevalent. So for me, it's like, you know, embodying that, particularly with a band like Aerosmith, as a group of birds could be something really interesting to explore as a concept.
Awesome. So before we fight it out, that was a nice big pitch because you had to paint your concept. So don't be scared to go at one another. Please bash each other's answers. And then let's hear from you guys. Fight it out.
Duncan, why geese?
Because it just like it every year there's a natural change of the seasons.
Okay.
It would literally represent the seasons changing in their
Who would
lives.
Simon Cowell be in that?
Yeah, because don't forget that One Direction were sort of artificially made.
Yeah.
You know, there wasn't this like coming of age and we got to go do things. It was like they were specifically put together in front of everyone in that competition.
How
Not
did
akin to
they
pugs.
reach Simon? Were
Yeah,
they
sure.
already a group when they reached
No,
Simon?
they were individuals, and then over the course of that one particular season,
So the
they
season
said,
changing, and once they reach the destination, they won, and then they split. And I don't want to make it depressing, but like, you know, some die during the journey.
I was going to ask if geese could fly, but like,
Okay.
they can.
they
can. That's how they make that long.
Which actually weakens your argument.
They don't walk.
Yo, that's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually tragic. That was tragic.
But we're here to
Crazy.
fight about animals as musicians. So
The
let's hear
changing
more.
of seasons maybe wouldn't necessarily be about, I mean, you can change the concept here and there. Maybe it's not about, you know, reaching the fame. Maybe like the change of the season, is about them going to the show, meeting Simon, and then formulating the group One Direction. And then eventually there is a portion where they each go their own way.
So hold on, is the migration is to Simon Cowell?
it feels too convoluted.
Yeah, I agree.
But let's hear more from the rest then.
I like your idea, but I'm afraid that Aerosmith is such a forgotten band.
I like yours, except I can't equate I just had sex and a chipmunk, which is a cute childlike character in the same category.
What about sex?
You know the Lonely Island song, I just had
I just had sex.
Yeah.
They're cheeky. Chipmunks are cheeky.
Something like squirrels, I would believe that. Hamsters, I would. There you have something.
Yeah.
Hamsters as Lonely Island, my guy.
Okay. We're in like little vermin territory.
Yeah.
It can
Yeah.
they embody very similar sort of attributes.
So your movie would be more of like a sausage party type of, because I don't see you making a Lonely Island for kids.
Yeah. No, it would certainly have an age limit. It would be cheeky. It would be fun.
It would be fun.
It would be smart.
Yeah.
They could do lots of things. They could solve crimes.
But
They could sing
what would
songs.
that brings me to? What would be the plot line? What would be the plot line of the movie? Or does it have to be like a bio? It doesn't have to be a bio.
You can get
Is it
creative
just
with
a
it.
concept
You can get
or-
creative as you want.
Well, just imagine
So you don't want a
something
finished
like
product?
Pop Star,
Yeah.
Never Stop.
Yeah.
Just imagine that. But chipmunks.
See, for me, the Aerosmith and the Avery,
Imagine Rescue Rangers. Just like real life.
notwithstanding the antiquated forms of a lot of these guys, right? Like the plot line that just unfolded in my head about this story would literally be like birds who can't sing particularly well, but still have a lot of flair and flash. And they're like amongst others who can really, really sing. So or these kind of like forgotten birds of paradise who are all weird looking and like with this big poofy hair, but know how to like draw attention. Exactly. They start bopping along and like just literally squawking their way. And they just draw in these crowds. Everyone in the jungle starts gathering up around these birds because they all identify that they can't sing themselves. But they still want to be as showy and flashy as
so
those
like
birds.
a sort of happy feet, but
More like a
Happy feathers, I guess.
more like a. Have you seen the studio on Apple TV?
yeah.
Yeah, it's more like the plot of the Kool-Aid movie.
Okay, well,
So it's more like
let's hear more about the others, I guess.
So how many are dying then? If it's like the Kool-Aid thing.
well, that's the whole thing. Is like some of these birds eventually do die because some birds have shorter lifespans than others, and then there's just these birds that just don't know how to deal with it.
It sounds too depressing.
It is. That's rock.
I wouldn't watch that.
Oh man.
I wouldn't watch it.
Okay, Russellton, give us your final argument, touching on their stuff and yours as you want.
Mine just sounds so fun and exciting. It just sounds cheeky and inventive and lovable, despite being a little cheeky and raunchy at times. But it's still lovable, and I just think there's such a universal appeal to Andy Samberg and those guys.
Just in general,
they've just produced such quality content that a biopic of themselves. But they can't. They're such busy people that they have to have
BoJack Horseman it, yeah.
They have to have people filling in for them, and then that's how you make the chip.
Okay, awesome. Cam, give us your final.
My final argument is there's something really profound about the journey of a bird. They wake us up in the morning, they accompany us to gym, and their songs make us reminisce on the past. And I think this idea of music that echoes through the ages, like rock for me at least is this musical expedition of like themes that I think just like used instrumentation in a level which I think elevated it beyond what any of us had seen before. And so to see birds like deep in the jungle that are like essentially rock stars, think like that bad guy from Kung Fu Panda 2, but like as birds. You haven't seen Kung Fu Panda 2?
Stopped at one.
Anyway, so like
Funny
that
enough,
kind of
I recently watched 2 and 3 and 4.
Yeah.
I also stopped at 1 for like majority of my life.
So I think it's clever. I think it's clever to have birds that are singers because birds sing. They're like one of the only natural creatures that sing.
I just think the Aerosmith story is.
Looking back, I would say that Dream On was just the headliner in my head for the way that the movie kind of was sold, so
Dream on, yeah.
literally Dream On.
Okay, and Duncan,
The movie could be called.
Yeah.
finish it for us.
There's something really profound about birds on a journey. It's very interesting how kind of
In
similar
a particular direction.
we just happen to be. Also, our concepts happen to be kind of similar, but they do branch off in their different directions. I don't know, with people
It
like
was in one direction, here's
And then
another.
another.
Yeah.
Yeah, touche.
that one was right there, and I didn't see it. I often go on nostalgia rabbit holes and just see like the acts of like our childhood and where they are now and how much they've changed. And they're just so big and they're just so a part of our lives for so long that you kind of disregard them as human beings. They're almost like a wall in your living room. You forget that like it's actually here and it's actually seen and been through a lot. And just thinking about One Direction and just how like there isn't even a One Direction anymore, which is ironic because they all went their directions. But just the concept of seeing them from bright-eyed little kids, or kids, to where they are now, megastars, probably some of them still struggling with the fame, some of them grown accustomed to the fame, just the different avenues that they've all branched to. It would just be great to see that also visually communicated through the journey of traveling from one pole through the other as the seasons change.
Cool. I'm going to call it time. Fact checker.
Okay, so we spoke a lot about geese today. Geese?
Give us geese facts.
I only have geese facts. No, I'm joking. So, first fact, this is a small little nitpick, but Duncan did say that the geese fly to the poles. That is just incorrect. They migrate, they don't go to the poles.
My bad.
They don't fly to
South to north, north to south.
That's on
here's an interesting fact that I think you guys will enjoy. Geese can die from falling from heights.
Wow, not immune.
But, for example, the barnacle geese can fall several hundred feet and survive.
Hell yeah.
So that is very interesting. Whoever said Aerosmith is a forgotten band did not check their Spotify monthly listeners, as currently 24.5 million people listen to them monthly.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye-bye. Thank you, fact checker.
That amount compared to other
Taylor Swift, yeah. Yeah.
minuscule.
Yeah, I agree.
So that was a fantastic. I was so excited for this question, and I thought this would have a clear winner, one and done, move on. The person who I plan to give the points on is the person whose answer I thought was the worst, and then I will say it. No, like initially. And the way this picture was painted, I'm like, boom, that's the one. So I would have 100% voted for Lonely Island Chipmunks. That's the movie you want to see.
You're going to give it to Aerosmith, aren't you?
The thing is,
Dream on.
no, the thing is, I'm not going to give it to Aerosmith because I think you had a concept that kind of fell. There was no. You didn't. I didn't want to go watch that.
we going
picture exactly. I know it's controversial.
We're going with the geese.
I'm going with the geese. I'm going with the geese because
You silly
a
talk.
movie was made where there was a reason for the choice of animal that really like locked in, and not that you didn't, but the way that it was painted, the changing of seasons, and yes, there's some stuff to work around, but I loved, and I in my head I'm like, Duncan, you're 90% there. Just take you're on a journey thing.
There could be good musical numbers in the air with them flying.
Yes,
it could
I do
work.
understand
it could work.
I understand
It
the
could
Simon
work.
Cowell thing.
I don't think they need to be geese, but I'll take it.
I love that you took the idea of a direct. You made it work. So
I just want to know how they're going to dance. There's lots of questions.
the fact that he climbed so high, he climbs out of the depths of hell with a terrible answer. And you were like, oh, I was wrong. So for the distance you climbed, I'm going to give you the point. I think you did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Cool. Then let's move on to question 3. We're now at 1 point Duncan, 1 point Russell, and Cam on hot on their tails. Trust me, none of these are easy wins so far. Okay. Question 3. Look, it's basically an objective fact that the comedy genre has struggled to navigate the ever-changing social landscape and expectations of our modern times. But we'd like to think that funny isn't dead. So tell us, what is the best comedy movie to come out in the last decade? Duncan, we'll start with you. Not going to win a point with that attitude.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I'm excited. It wasn't it was where do I start? I'm actually happy you brought up the studio because Seth Rogen is. I'm confident saying that he's my favorite filmmaker.
He's a genius.
I've just been in love with everything he does. He's one of those he doesn't miss guys. And one thing I love about him is that he's one of the people that are fighting to keep mid-budget comedies alive in an era where superhero movies have like tried to, or honestly succeeded to replace them in the global box office. People don't really invest into mid-budget comedies anymore because Marvel movies are your comedies now. I respect the fact that he fights for it, and I respect the fact that he makes sure that every movie he makes gives you that feeling of a Superbad, of those movies of that era. Longshot is the best comedy movie to come out in the past decade because it just achieves that.
Which movie?
Longshot. His movie with Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron, where Seth Rogen goes for Charlize Theron, who also happens to be super powerful, and he's like just
No, she's the head of state or something.
Secretary of State. Yeah, that is my answer because it's a movie that you watch and you feel like you're watching those movies from the mid 2000s.
Awesome. Cameron.
So mine was The Nice Guys, which if you guys haven't seen, I think it's 2016, Russell Crowe, Ryan Gosling. Hysterical. Like I genuinely, Shane Black, who penned it, is just such an intuitive writer. And just personally, I'm a big fan of like kind of the neo-noir genre of these like kind of rough and tough like heroes who aren't actually idiots most of the time. And I just think that the characters that were portrayed in that film, the way that the plot unfolds, they did such an awesome job of like kind of, I want to say, keeping the man's man like in the back seat and like really behind everybody else, but like they kept their integrity and they weren't goofy about it. They were like genuine people interacting in a genuinely funny way. Some very, very clever dialogue where if you watch that film, like the second pass and third pass, you're going to pick up on things that you didn't see the first time. And then just outright funny moments. It's tough in a genre where, yeah, I agree. The 2000s movies, you know, I watched Don't Mess with the Zohan recently, and I'm just like, what a hysterical film. We don't get to see movies like that much anymore. So for me, Nice Guys has a really, really special place.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Russell.
I chose Everything Everywhere All at Once.
It has come back.
So it was the best category.
It's not the best A24 film, but it's the best comedy of the last decade.
It is
because it is wildly inventive. It is so up to date. You guys are talking about, comedy ages. And you look back on early stand-up comedy of like a Steve Martin. It's not funny now. And so there is a humor that I think has died in those kind of Zohan-esque kind of middle-of-the-road comedies. And I just think that Everything Everywhere All at Once was just so wildly inventive and so ahead of its time that it will live on in that regard. The fact that you can watch like two... It's comedy, not
Duncan, you said the reason I lost that point is because apparently it's going to be antiquated in
It's comedy. It's
Let's
comedy.
let him open.
Yeah.
It's comedy. The fact that you are watching two rocks talking to each other through the sands of time,
Right?
and just like the fact that they've put butt plugs on the tables that are
They look like awards.
You don't pick up until you, and that whole like ratatouille.
Oh, genius. The
Raccoon.
Yeah.
It was just so punk rock in that sense. It was just so wildly inventive, so ridiculous that the whole movie was about a bagel.
Whole bagel.
And everything, and it was just delightful in that sense. So, in terms of comedy, it deserves all the praise.
I see you guys are chomping at the bits. Go for it. Apparently
I'm just gonna say I should have won that points if we're gonna go with the fact that it's ahead of its time and it's gonna live forever.
That its comedy was ahead of its time,
Which makes it
But I
great.
feel like the movie
was
around
still
it, that just-
overwhelming and
The movie around it, just the general Gen Z-ness of it, I feel like it's going to have its effect on the comedy, and then our children or our grandchildren are going to be like, oh yeah, this is grandpa's movie. This is
Okay, no,
That's a terrifying thought.
maybe one doesn't lean into the timelessness of the comedy. Maybe we can just celebrate how comedic that movie is, regardless of its time and its place. So let's perhaps move past.
It's quite interesting.
Its timelessness. Let's just focus on how wildly inventive that.
Yeah,
comedy
it was.
and it was.
inventive.
Your movie, I'm sure, is great. I haven't seen it.
It's fine.
But to me, it feels like a made for Netflix, like kind of one of the same. I don't
Surprisingly
think
not, because I tried to find it in South Africa and I could only do that illegally, which I didn't do.
No, sure,
I'd
but
have just protest.
I agree that Seth Rogen's great and all the stuff that he does is cool. I just don't know whether it shines past all of the films
noise.
of that time. In my opinion, that it feels like a good, solid, middle of the road comedy.
And that's why Nice Guys wins, dude.
Nice Guys
It'll always be funny.
was unsuspectedly good in that sense. Like it was better than people thought it was going to
so
be.
much better.
I think a comedic Gosling is a gem.
Literally.
But I just don't know whether it was that unique.
Like if you think about it, if you think about the last decade, okay, we've been starved of like really funny
But it's a bit
comedies.
same. It's like
Like,
buddy comedy.
It was a buddy cop, but name one that's comparable to Nice Guys.
Rush Hour.
Rush Hour.
Yeah.
Rush Hour was more slapsticky though. And this was something that I wanted to say is like if we're talking
When
about
he
comedy
throws
in
the guy the
particular.
gun and it goes out the window. When he throws the guy the gun and it goes out
And
the
what's
window.
the
That was
other
like
one
something that felt.
with Will Ferrell and
The other
Mark
guys.
Wahlberg?
Other
Other guys.
guys, exactly.
It's kind of the same. It's a bit samey.
Yeah, I think if we were all having this conversation a year later, we would all say The Naked Gun with Liam Neeson.
That looks
It
so
looks
stupid.
hilarious. I hope so.
Yeah,
No, that
it's-
looks so dumb.
Yeah, that's exactly why I think it's just.
I don't
it's gonna
know.
win. But so for me, I segment comedy into like 3 categories. We get humor, which is kind of like we laugh at ourselves, but we see the truth, and that's a little bit uncomfortable. Then there's satire, which is I think what Nice Guys is, which is this clever commentary on something that's actually quite serious, but actually we have to interpret it through humor in order to like bring that out. And then we just get almost, I suppose, comedic, which is more along the lines of the movies that you were talking about earlier, Duncan. The thing that I have against Long Shot, though, is for me it feels more like a rom-com romance type of movie.
Comedy's comedy.
Yeah, but like
Sure, but don't you see how Everything Everywhere has all of that?
it's
physical
is a bagel
humor.
with everything on it. We've
Physical
established
humor,
this from.
it's smart.
It's a great comedy.
nuanced.
I'm just
Name
saying
one
it.
line.
It's
Name one line that
physical.
you thought was really funny in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Name one line.
Yeah, one line, like a bah, hit me moment.
I will say that memory, I won't hold it against you if you can't. I'm
Yeah.
happy.
Or a funny
No,
moment.
I just the moment of the fucking Rakakuni where
That was funny.
there was
that
just this
funny.
wild moment where there's like a
Raccoon.
raccoon on her head.
What about you,
while
Doug?
doing a fight scene.
movie or everything?
No, of your movie.
In the I don't know.
Look how much he's enjoying it already.
I'm literally laughing about it right now. There's the opening scene or shot is of Seth Rogen as a undercover journalist infiltrating these neo-Nazis, and they're in a room and they're all just being absurdly racist and whatever. Seth Rogen is Jewish, and now all of them, under the pretense that they're all neo-Nazis, they were like, okay, cool, hail Hitler, and then he's like, Like, he doesn't want to commit to putting his hand up. Just that, you have to see it the way he does it. Hilarious, bro. And that's just the beginning of the movie.
See, I got several moments in Nice Guys, which were just outright hilarious.
Make it your closing argument.
Yeah, so my closing argument is that a funnier moment, and that's just one of many in Nice Guys, is when Russell Crowe is standing at the bar with Ryan Gosling and they're doing the whole good cop, bad cop routine to the barman. And the guy's like, I'm not going to tell you that information. And he's like, well, you want to say something to him? And he's like, we could do this the easy way or the hard way. And then as soon as the guy talks, he pulls his tie and like smacks him on the thing. And he's like, what happened to the easy way? And he's like, that was the easy way.
I don't remember Nice Guys that well.
Oh, dude, you owe it to yourself.
Okay, but then make it your final argument, Russell.
Yeah,
Let's see.
it's just I've never seen Long Shot, or maybe I have, and that's the problem.
Shots fired.
Nice Guys, I remember thinking it was cool, but it just never stuck with me. It never lasted.
Owe it to yourself to watch it again, man.
Where
It's like-
Everything Everywhere All at Once, it's just so layered.
Some would say the best film of their time.
It's up there, but it's no 8th grade. But but in terms of comedy, it was just so wildly unique, and it's just and the fact that it did so well in the Oscars as a comedy, which you
Yeah.
just don't always see. Like Nice Guys would never sort of get those Oscars, but they could be so comedic and so silly, and just clean up at the Oscars.
Yeah.
Like, it just shows you how incredible it is.
Duncan.
I believe that Seth Rogen has proven himself to be, a true champion of comedies, especially those mid-budget comedies. So just because of that, just because he's made, I would argue, ever since Freaks and Geeks to Superbad to, in my opinion, This Is the End, which is like another, I wanted to name that, but it's been over 10 years. Very innovative, very comedic. It's still funny till this day. I'm very confident that Long Shot is going to be a timeless movie for multiple reasons. Just the fact that the comedy sticks and it's not a product of its time. And even just the concept of the movie, of this woman trying to be the next president, but just having to fight through like the misogyny and all of that stuff. And the fact that America still doesn't have a female president. So probably not even for a long time. So until that president happens, it's just going to be a relatable movie going forward.
Okay, time. Duncan, you brought up Hitler and American politics. You do not get the point.
What?
No, I'm joking. That's not the reason. But damn. And now I'm going to have to cut all. No, I'm joking. No, I think you got shot down in the fact that it does have that Netflix feel. And usually I wouldn't take, I have never seen or heard of that as an argument, but it does have that quality to it. Like, you're one of the few times where obviously there's hidden gems and stuff, but I remember checking the trailer to remind myself of what you're talking about. I'm like, yes, I remember vaguely seeing something along this line. So maybe it's not bad, and maybe it's a hidden gem, but I don't think anyone can put that on a poster and say that's the best comedy of the last 10 years. That would be a little bit of a crime. I struggled.
If you loved it, that's all that counts.
You had a good time. You had a good time.
No, I think I have seen it down the line.
So it came down to me between Russell and Cameron, and it was really tough. I was really racking my brain. And Cameron, when you were trying to hold people at gunpoint, making them tell you their movies, it just felt like you were forcing them to do your homework for you. But I think in the way that, yes, it's so tough. To this point, I'm not even like 100% sure which way I'm going to go. So I'm going to rely on, which I rarely solely focus on, an opening argument. And I love how you painted the nice guys in your opening argument. So for that, I will give you the point. I personally believe Everything Everywhere All at Once is a better comedy.
Oh, it's just a better
no, it's just the way
film.
that you
Some would
painted.
say the best, I guess.
We'll leave that as
He's not
is.
going to let that go.
But I really liked how you portrayed it. I liked your breakdown of the styles of comedy. And yeah, I believed you made me want to watch a movie that I thought was okay again. And that's always a good sign of a good argument. So you get the point for that.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's 3 points all
I
around.
still won that though.
Hey, I feel like I won that first round.
So we've established that Everything Everywhere All at Once is a good movie and it wins points. Can I just say, fun fact, I've been trying to get Caleb behind the cameras to watch Everything Everywhere for such a long time, and it's so hilarious seeing him react to you guys speaking about the movie out of context. He's like rocks talking to one another and a
not seen
raccoon.
it? Oh, dude.
We're watching it really soon. So
Yeah.
now I'm forcing him to it. Okay, question number 4. A common complaint often heard is that a movie was too long. Even a masterpiece like Return of the King couldn't escape that exact criticism. Rarely is it asked, though, what movie should be longer? But we're snowflakes and like to do things that show how unique and special we are. So which movie would you want to be longer now? And I'm sorry, Caleb really wanted me to remove that line, but I don't care. I write these, so I'll leave it in. We'll start with Cameron.
So with me, I was really looking forward to Russell starting.
No, go for it. You want to speak? Go for it.
Yo, man. First of all, take me to the person who said that The Return of the King didn't need to be longer. I remember stopping that movie before the last sequence because I didn't want it to end. I just wanted to stay in there. But, you know, that aside, let's not take tangents. It's in a league of its own, that trilogy. The film that I really would have loved to have been longer, which was already a long film, which is a bit surprising, is one of the top films on my currently for me, which is Blade Runner 2049. Reason being is because I feel like Ridley Scott and Denis Villeneuve have painted such an amazing and immersive scaled world. Like when you watch that film, you just get the sense of like enormity, you know, and that's, I think, part of its key themes. But what I really desired, and like I don't want to go too much into spoilers for people who haven't seen it, what I desired is a satisfactory conclusion to that, which I honestly believe was like not longer, probably 2 scenes away from being finalized in that particular film. I think in terms of like a hero's journey and the way that concludes in of itself is poignant and effective. But there were 2, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say spoiler alert, so you must stop now if you guys don't want to hear this. But the 2 key factors which I really believe needed to have a bow on top of them. Number 1 was Wallace, played by Jared Leto, like the bad guy. I feel like there needed to be some sort of closure as to what the hell happened to that guy when he didn't get his objective. Like when he lost, a man that powerful, how did he react to losing? You know, number 1. And then number 2, this moment that essentially the whole film is actually about happens right at the end. And then as we get there, boom, it's taken away from us and the credits roll. You know, when there's a family reunion, you know, after so many years because of these power structures that is finally like there, we don't get to see the outcome of that at all. And it doesn't have to be a big thing, but I honestly think 2 more scenes would have extended that experience into just even another level than it already is.
I like that a lot. Okay, Russell?
I really loved Forrest Gump. And I thought what Forrest Gump did as a movie so successfully put you in the history of America. And we got to see a lot. The soundtrack is like arguably the American songbook. The book that it was based on took Forrest Gump to far more places. he like went to the moon. He did.
You're kidding
like,
me. It's based on a book.
It's
What book?
based on a book. It's based on a book, and so I think there was just the chance to just unashamedly keep going and put him in far more and just make this movie so much longer.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, he agrees.
He's like, he wants to watch.
I was about to
Let the record show.
Before we get there,
No,
Duncan.
it's just so fun, and it's just so cool that he gets to experience this history, and we get to watch it. And of course, history just keeps going, and so there's just the chance to just keep going and unashamedly make this much longer movie. Extra chapters, just go, take it as far as you can go.
No, it's a great answer. Duncan?
I wanted to be creative with my answer. I chose The Flash, the recent Flash movie, because the most annoying thing about that movie is that it falls flat on its face. It is not a good time because I feel like they took literally the entire point of the movie and they just threw it out and they said, we're going to make this movie without it. Like a car with no engine, they just made everything other than the thing that needed to be made. Barry is struggling with the death of his mother, suspicious death. Nobody knows what happened or how it happened. And his father's in jail for it. And he wants to go back in time to prevent that death so that his life can be perfect. He goes back in time, he finds his mother, and then he's happy. And then he absolutely, a forensic investigator, he goes back in time, finds his mother alive, and does nothing to find out who killed her or what happened. There's no detective, no investigation whatsoever. And then the movie just carries on to Batman and
That was freaking
General
dope, though.
Zod.
Yo, that was dope.
What?
No, Karen going, sorry.
General Zod, and it does everything. The movie is literally just spectacle, and the emotional through line, literally the meat of the movie, they just threw it out. And I believe that is why the movie fell flat on its face.
Very good answer. Okay, everyone, go for it.
I don't know if so Flash, I actually surprisingly hadn't seen until I read that you had listed it as a.
Oh, you only saw it recently.
Yeah, I saw it recently.
It's not as bad as people say.
Yeah, I honestly was going into it with very, very low expectations, near zero. And was pleasantly surprised at kind of just the way that it unpacked its narrative. First of all, like, Michael Keaton, Batman, man, sheesh.
Yeah.
They did such a like homage to it.
But it was such a carrot, though. They like
Yeah,
really
of
wanted
course.
people to get like jazzed about it.
Exactly, and that's what
It was
I
done
thought.
for
I was
the
like,
sake
I was
of
like-
carroting,
I was
yeah.
like, sheesh, dude, this guy, they're gonna haul him out, and they're gonna put him on, Batman suit is gonna be kind of like, he freaking killed it. Like one of the highlights of the movie for me, genuinely, as like not only an actor, but just the way that they painted the
Loved him as
character.
Vulture as well.
But I disagree with you.
On a Michael Keaton episode, focus on the ending.
Sorry.
So for me, you're saying that the reason you wanted it to be longer is because you actually wanted a revenge movie.
No, not necessarily. I feel like they if they took that narrative potential of finding out who killed his mom, why, maybe it would have been rather. That's actually the thing. There's a million things it could have done. It could have been a revenge movie. Why not? If it's written well, it can work.
But
it could have been a forgiveness movie. But there's a lot that could have been done with that piece of information they just threw out.
If we're nitpicking,
Yeah, but
it's almost as if you want to rewrite as opposed to an extension.
I want an addition. Everything else can stay the way it does.
So it's the exact
I
same.
still
And then
think-
at the end, he's like, hey, who killed her? And he just runs and he's like,
I think that is hard.
bit by bit throughout the movie.
That is hard because there is so much that movie is trying to do.
yeah, lots.
And I think you're correct in saying that it could have focused more on something, but it is still trying to do all those other things. So I think you adding this will make it more convoluted.
The scene at the end where he's facing himself and he's going through this emotional dilemma. I feel like if they could have been literally just 2 scenes, well, okay, maybe that's too little. 3 or 4 scenes, because it's about making the movie longer. If they could have been 2, 3, or 4 scenes within throughout the movie where he's actually facing the fact that, she was killed. It doesn't even have to be Reverse Flash, or which I would prefer it was, but now that's adding a lot. If there were just a couple scenes where it has something to do with finding out who killed his mother, why did they kill his mother,
Sure.
working with that scene at the end would have had more emotional depth.
What I can say, which almost sounds like I'm siding with you, but I'm not. So just hear me out. The best superhero movies are the ones where it's not like the whole world's going to end. Like Those first Spider-Man ones were so good. He's just trying to like go to prom, and the dad is problematic. It's so small. It's so contained. It's actually about something else. Why we liked the last Patterson Batman. It wasn't like the whole world is at stake and there's giant portals.
Doesn't have to be a beam
and there's
in the
aliens.
sky.
Like it can just be a simple detective story. So I think you have the right instinct, but you actually need to rewrite that whole movie. I think that Flash movie should have been about that core thing and not everything else. But unfortunately, they did have everything else. So I think you adding your story, which it actually should have been the whole thing, I think you're making it more convoluted.
I'm hearing a
agree
lot
that-
about The Flash. I want to hear more about other movies.
Okay.
I had a question,
Alright.
but it's fine.
I think it sounded like I liked your thing, but I was also like, I think it's cool.
My argument to you
Yeah.
is that, like, if you look at the original Blade Runner and if you look at Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep,
Yeah, beautiful.
and what they were trying to do with 2049 is they want that mystery. They've purposefully left these movies with
Yeah,
you
deprived.
not. It's the Nolan
Yeah, little sprinkle.
spinning. No, I'm doing the spinning
Yeah,
wheel.
yeah, the top.
It looked like you were doing salt.
I'm trying to spin a
Fact
top
checker.
they don't want to explain everything in Blade Runner, and I think that's part of what makes it great. So I don't think adding more explanation and tying Blade Runner up in a bow is Blade Runner's.
Hey man, I think
essence.
they ran out of studio time. I mean, it's coming in at like 2 hours something already. You know.
But you got what you needed from 2049. You got the.
I didn't get to see freaking Wallace, you know, because he painted such a good like villain of who believes that they're like a god. You know what I mean? That they have this ability to form life and populate it, and there's this one little missing piece that is depriving them from that supremacy. And like we never got to see.
Make this your closing argument.
Yeah, we never got to see the effect of like what that meant for him. You know what I mean? As like a villain. So for me, it's like I agree with you that the allure of these films is probably one of the reasons I've seen it so many times is because
mystery and its unansweredness and
it is.
that's part
But
of the
that's
charm.
also the same argument I'm going to use against you for Forrest Gump. Is like for
Okay.
me, it's like the fact that the book has more adventures makes me want to read the book and also just really appreciate the movie for what it is. You know, like I think if we added a little bit more to Forrest Gump, and then this is going to sound weird as it is, but I wouldn't believe it as much. Part of my like journey with Forrest Gump is when I watched it, like I genuinely believe that this is one dude who went through spectacular changes in the most spectacular way, you know?
But it doesn't even have to be literally the book. It's just the fact that
You wanted
he's
to
such
journey
a
with him.
credible and it's such a fun device
Yeah.
that you can just play so much more.
You just wanted to see more
You
of
know,
him.
he can grow older. Like you can make this movie as long as you want, and I
Yeah.
mean, it can be this epic thing that you, especially on streaming, you can always pause it. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be in a cinema
this
for
into
many
your
hours.
final argument.
But you can honestly make Forrest Gump as long as you want.
Yeah.
And just keep going through history and just keep having this incredible soundtrack. And there's just so much more that you can do with it.
Isn't the beauty?
Duncan,
When
you've
does-
had your chance.
When does the movie end, though? Do I have to conclude my argument?
You can say whatever you want.
When-
You've got
when you
30
want
seconds
to.
to do so.
Okay, well, don't answer the question, but I'm just asking myself, when does the story end if you just keep prolonging it?
Remember, it doesn't. I will specify. No one said you have to add to the ending of the movie. You just have to extend it and fill gaps. So that's fine.
Okay, fine. We spoke so long about The Flash that I honestly feel like I said everything that I needed to say. Honestly, there's nothing left.
You want to tell us a joke with your last 10 seconds? So you happy with that?
No, I don't want to tell
Okay,
a joke.
so you feel happy?
I just want to further cementify the fact that little piece of a emotional through line throughout the film literally was the make or break, and they threw it out and it broke. That's
Awesome.
it.
Time. Before I have anything else to say, fact checker.
I do have facts this round. So yes, Forrest Gump was based on a book called Forrest Gump. It was released in 1986, and interestingly enough, personal story here, I only read the sequel. I learned today
Yeah.
while doing fact checking, because there is a sequel book called Gump and Co.
Which they almost turned into a movie
Which
as well.
also
but it
almost turned
failed,
into a
yeah.
movie, yes. And then in regards to Blade Runner and the unreliable narrator and stuff like that, to add into that, there were also 7
Yeah.
different versions of the original movie.
Yeah.
So
For Forrest Gump or Blade Runner?
No,
Blade Runner. Sorry.
Yeah, but I'd be like, that's crazy.
There is
that-
one version of Forrest Gump.
And famously, the theatrical version of the original Blade Runner was the worst one because that's where they shoehorned all the the voiceover lines in from Harrison Ford.
You're talking about the original.
Yeah,
We're talking about the,
but it's
not
just a fun
2049.
fact, just a
yeah,
fun
100%. I was like, dude, I'm a big fan. I was like, I had no idea that they did the sequel as well.
Yeah, no, it's so luckily not. What I'll say is I think everyone did a very good job at fighting in this one. I think everyone had a good reason for why their movie should be extended, how it would be extended. I had the exact same problems you had with The Flash, but Russell pointed out beautifully that that's a different movie. It's not just an extension, and it would feel convoluted. The thing is, Blade Runner 2049, as you pointed out yourself, is already incredibly long, and Russell added to the fact that maybe the mystery is kind of the point. And I understand what you want, but that's like a hardcore fan want. The thing is, Russell gave a very, very realistic and good way which Forrest Gump could have been more, and it would have worked perfectly.
By going to the moon.
Not necessarily. if he stuck to if he stuck to what the book says, then maybe that would be. But he himself said, no, you can take the same approach to different scenarios. So I think for sure, Russell gets the point on that one with a brilliant.
It was a dub, bro.
Brilliant
That was the
rebuttal
one
and a brilliant stat.
yeah.
When I saw your answer as well, I was like, that is the answer. I love Forrest
Gump is, but it was.
Okay, so that is 2 to Russell, which means Russell is 100% making it to the speed round, and then 1 to Cam and 1 to Duncan. So 2 things can happen. Either one of you two get confirmed for the speed round, or if Russell wins this one, you guys would need a tiebreaker to get through. So let's see what happens. Okay, question 5. Do I believe aliens exist? That's not the question, so I won't tell you. But if I did, I'd probably start by putting on a movie for them. Probably at the bioscope. Sorry if they reckon. And if I could only show them one, then help me decide. What movie would best represent humanity to aliens? We're going to start with Russell.
I really, really loved the movie Sing Sing. I think it was my best movie of last year. And the movie is set in the jail, Sing Sing. What I love about it is it's not the sort of origin of this group. You catch them mid-season as these prisoners are putting on a theatre production. And it's about them finding an escape from their world through art and theatre and coming out of the confines of being in prison. But what you really get from the movie is the celebration of what it means to be alive and what freedom we have as humans, how we punish ourselves, how we reform, how we lose our minds. And I think it explains the human condition to the alien, that not only do we put ourselves in these jails for the people that have done something wrong. I think that says a lot about how we react as humans and what we do. I don't think any other animal in the world creates jails for themselves. But how we could reform, how we are meant to not be in jail, and how we find the freedom out there in the world, and just what it means to be alive. And that's what I got from it. And that's why that would be my choice.
Awesome. Duncan.
Again, very big Seth Rogen fan. I chose The Interview because I feel like if aliens knew nothing about humanity, I would be too scared to tell them that we fight each other, because then the aliens might think we hate each other. I would be too scared to tell them we love each other, because now they might think maybe there's no violence and it's a utopia. A movie like The Interview would probably explain humanity to an alien perfectly, because it, on one hand, shows our geopolitical crises, countries constantly fighting with each other, people threatening to bomb each other. But at the same time, there also is the emotional through line of friendship and just general love and humanity for each other. So if I wanted to show an alien the perfect nuances of what it is to be human, both love and hate can coexist without it being a contradiction, I would show them The Interview.
Awesome answer. Cameron.
Yo, guys, this is a tricky one. I am pleased to see that no one else added in a movie that features other aliens and how we deal with those situations. But for me, there's like only really one answer, and it surprised even like myself to kind of see this is where I landed, which is Don't Look Up. I think as a film, yes, tinges of comedy, 100%. But I think it encapsulated what both of you guys are saying in your points in a very, very profound and theatrical way as well, where you have these layers of very intelligent, smart people. You have these layers of very normal, average people, and then you have these very powerful people in different spheres, and how all of them, when faced with a threat that could potentially wipe them out, how they all respond and react to that. And so I think by showing aliens a movie like this, we could really identify for them. This is probably what would happen if our race knew we were going to die.
But it's not selling humans very well.
Find it out. Go for
It's
it.
not selling them very well. And
Who
so-
wants to sell us well? They're going to realize that's the android paradox, where you realize
But you
that the
want to
humans lied to you. Like, you
think-
guys are actually worse than that. That's the AI problem, right?
I think the
We have
point,
redeeming qualities as a human race.
No, 100%. But Don't Look Up shows that, though. We do have redeeming qualities. We had
Does the
every
planet not
opportunity-
explode?
Yeah, it does. But why does it explode?
Because greed won in the end.
Yes, because
Because humans are greedy.
No, I
is
just-
that not true?
No, it
is,
but that's. I don't think that's what you would want to show aliens.
I don't wanna-
And I don't
Look
think.
how
I don't
terrible
think
they
the
are.
point. Yeah, I think it's that. In my, if I have to argue it,
Yeah, if you have to.
is that that's the movie you must show humans. But it's not what you want to show an alien. You want to show humans to be like this.
But you would want to show an alien
look at how
that we
stupid
lock
are.
up people who are bad. We think they're bad.
That's the premise, but that's the starting point. But to show what it means to be human, what it means to be alive, and what it means to be free, is what you get from Sing Sing. It's the joy of art. We create art. No other animal does this. But over the course of this movie, they put this play together, and you see how important playing is and the creation of art. And that's something so special that humans do that these aliens probably don't do.
But would it help them understand humanity?
I think so, for that precise
feel like
Just
reason.
movie-
art?
you
Then
movie
why not show
also-
them Dead Poet Society? Why not show
Sing
them...
Sing also has the same problem where it
this
kind of
does
shows
it
the
best.
worst of humanity.
That's why I chose.
It shows the worst of humanity.
I'd say it also shows the worst in humanity because it's based on a true story, if I'm not mistaken. I
Sing Sing.
think, yeah.
Yeah. No, it certainly shows how bad situations can be and what humans can do, but hope triumphs. Where in this, Don't Look Up, it all goes down. It all goes
I think
down.
basically we're also saying to them, like, listen, like, we're smarter than that. You know, we're showing you this movie to show you what happens when, you know, you do try exert
No,
power.
even in our
beyond
fantasies,
coexistence.
we still lose to our greed.
Exactly.
Essentially.
Exactly. So we're
This is
saying
not-
to
this is not a
aliens.
thing to put forward to the aliens.
No.
I just don't think it.
That's like on a first date, you tell the girl something terrible about
Yeah, it
yourself.
can be
so
like-
I'm aware of it.
Right,
I know that I'm this terrible.
I can be a bit.
But you guys
greedy
are
and-
completely overlooking the scenes before the end, right?
Are you going to turn it off?
No. You're gonna you're overlooking how in those moments the general population of mankind, as flawed and broken and humbled as it is, you know, even in that acceptance of the end, something as special as a meal and connection and just embracing like a sunset and a beach and nature's beauty and our art.
No,
That's
you
what
don't-
it grounds us,
but
man.
you don't get that from
Yeah.
that movie. That movie is frustrating as nobody
It's
listens to
frustrating
them.
and it's depressing, but it is a good movie though.
It is.
It is fun.
and he gets corrupted himself. So it very much establishes what humans do and are capable of.
Humanity.
But I think specifically to show an alien is not putting your best foot
But you would
forward.
show it.
I'm not hearing enough about the interview.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Give me
let's
your
talk about the
chief
interview.
arguments
I
again.
also really want to know your chief arguments before we unpack.
I just feel like it shows like if I were to show an alien what humanity is, I feel like the nuances, even with the fact that it's a comedy, like
But Kim Jong Un, whatever his name,
Yeah.
he's such a specific person. And North Korea is so unique.
Yeah.
that I don't think it embodies global politics. It doesn't
does.
embody
It does.
Africa.
They literally
the whole world and
India.
how we function. It's
Well, I'm not gonna show a movie if I were to break down like our geopolitical
It's such a-
crisis.
it's
I'm not
such a
gonna like
specific
show them
anomaly.
each movie of each dictator or each bad president. I'm not gonna go to. I can't show them everything
What's the
in
line?
a movie.
What's the line
Kim
that
Jong-un?
the Kim Jong Un line in the interview that everybody?
and also it's obviously not. It's not even a real look on North Korea. So I think it would confuse the alien because he'd be like, "Are all countries like this? No. Is he really like this? No." He gets a anal
satire.
probe. Sure, but I don't think an alien understands satire. I don't think you can to specifically show an alien. I think it would confuse the hell out of them.
No, I feel like it would
Duncan,
show
make
them.
it your final argument.
I feel like I would show the alien a very good time whilst I keep trying
Do
to
you think it would
convey this.
understand the humor of it all? Like talk shows,
Well, I think it
and
would.
how he's a talk show
Because the
host.
alien is
But the
actively
alien would
trying
also
to
understand the sensitivities behind art and what that means to us. What if they just don't?
They
have
wouldn't
that
know
at all?
that. They wouldn't know that
they'd be
either.
shown
And I feel
it
like
as-
Sing
as-
Sing is depressing because he goes to jail for a crime he didn't commit. So it's also a matter of similar to Don't Look Up. It's
Sure,
just showing the
but
aliens
justice.
the
But
worst
he gets
of
out in the
humanity.
end.
Humanity.
He gets out in the end, and he goes on this arc, and the alien could go on that arc with him,
Yes.
and ultimately see the triumph in the end.
So why did he? Okay.
Okay, do you want to add anything else? Or
I'm
can-
good.
Okay, Russell, your final argument.
I think I just made it.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Cam?
My final argument, guys, is what do we want the aliens to get from these films, right?
Yeah, that's what I've been saying
okay?
the whole time.
Exactly. So for the interview, we're going to understand there's geopolitical tensions around, right? Okay. From Sing Sing, we're going to get that. Dude, I cannot wait to watch the film. By the way, like
Oh,
I
you
just
haven't
couldn't-
seen it?
It's
Yeah.
unless it was illegal, I couldn't get it. So I'm
Yeah,
going
it
to
was a
find a
pity
way
that
to
it
get
wasn't
it.
released here.
Yeah. So, but it looks phenomenal. But if we show them that, we're going to show them that it is okay to be confined into two small spaces, and we could still find. our
they'll
humanity.
realize it's not.
No, they're going to
And they'll-
realize
and
that,
they'll
like,
understand
listen, human beings
freedom.
can.
I'm gonna
But
call
anyway,
it. Okay, you want to say
yeah,
one more thing?
Well, last thing is when they say "Don't look up," they're going to be like, "These flipping guys. If we get greedy, we're going to die anyway. So we might as well find a way to coexist with them." Boom.
Time. That was chaotic. That's why I want to write more of these weird questions. What's very funny is Duncan and Cam were of the belief that there are many aliens, but Russell chose to appeal to one alien. I just see Russell and the alien sitting there like watching Sing Sing, really getting to it. And I think
That's actually kind of true.
he's the only one that constantly said the alien, which I liked.
It's just Thanos.
It's so interesting. I think the thing that at the end of the day awarded the point or costs certain people the point is this idea of, because when we talk about showing humanity to an
Do
alien,
we not have facts today?
no, not yet. When we talk about showing a movie to an alien to represent humanity, it's more this idea of take something that knows nothing of us and expose something to them. That's the concept we've got. But before I tell you who win, Alien.
Yeah, alien. Okay, so it is interesting how all of the facts I have been presenting are for some reason based on animals. But we are actually unique in the fact that we are the only ones of the planet Earth. We are the only creature that does have prisons.
Yeah,
But
there's
ants-
exiling.
There's lots of exiling.
There's lots of exiling. But what is interesting is the most similar behavior that is displayed in animals is from ants, where they will capture other ants and retrain them to basically become slaves for themselves.
Which is what we're trying to do with the aliens.
Another fact,
Well,
this is in
all the
response to Russell saying that no one has art except for humanity. It defines how you have to redefine how you tackle art. But for example, birds sing, things like, and they build nests. And so there are complex constructions shown across a variety of different animals on Earth, as well as the fact that things like elephants, dogs, and dolphins can all be trained to paint. So while we
Dolphins?
as so according to the Google,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
That is
surprised. It's
amazing.
more the logistics of how do
That
how do
dolphin,
they
will
paint.
have, that dolphin will have sex with your mom.
Yes,
Yeah, I don't want to bring it up. But yeah, that
I
is
will.
true.
I will. So Caleb makes a good point, but where I think Russell still stands fine is humans are the only ones that make art for art's sake.
Yeah.
The things that these animals do that is beautiful, we find artistic in our ability to perceive art. They don't perceive art. They want to have sex with a counterpart. That's the reason for 90% of what is artistic.
But we are showing humanity to the aliens.
Yes,
right?
not I'll
Earth,
tell you, you're getting
not
the point.
planet Earth.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, you're 100% are getting the point for that sake.
Oh.
And I think it's good that you highlight that, because the word that was used is humanity, which can be interpreted in two ways. It's human nature or humanity, which is a bit of a positive spin to that. And you did that well. And I do think Sing Sing requires the least amount of context. I mean, Duncan, the moment you said it's satire, you lost so hard. They don't have the nuance.
Okay,
But
fine.
I see, like, I genuinely see where you were coming from, but I think that cost you there, and it was a bit of a mess over there. Because I think you were trying to trick the aliens into getting, you were going to assassin them and then hire, like, you had a plan. So you were 10 steps ahead.
I just wanted to say, listen, guys. After watching countless movies and hypotheses about like AI and the rules around robots, there's one thing that everybody doesn't do, which they should do, which is just be honest.
No, but
You know
that's the
what I
thing.
mean?
So great movie
Yeah.
for humanity. It's like, I just don't
Perfect
think we should,
for us to watch. Yeah,
we shouldn't
yeah.
air our dirty laundry in space.
Everybody needed to see that movie, but
Yeah.
like by everyone, I mean
Also,
the humans
that-
on Earth.
Yeah. Not the rest. So Russell, you get that point, but everyone fought valiantly. What that means is you two are going to have a speed round to fight it out. And Russell, you're going to help me make a decision on who wins that.
I'm not gonna lie, the Sing though, like
I really
in terms
wanna-
of humanity,
Yeah.
I completely agree with
So-
you, man. We can't. Yeah, I agree.
Let
No,
me-
it's part of the fun.
Yeah.
It's a gentle
And
and beautiful
I
part.
loved the interview.
It's really fun. How the speed round's going to
Maybe
work?
I am a firework.
What is the one line? What is the line that everybody?
There's so
quotes?
many in that though. Like the
but the whole thing with
the Eminem gay thing is just as funny.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
there's a lot of
The
stuff.
Nicki Minaj one as
Okay.
well.
So how this is going to work is I'm going to say it's a yes or no question. Whoever says yes or no first gets that. The other person has to go with. So if he says yes first, you have to go with no. Okay, you'll see the question.
Okay.
And then once we have your answers, then I'll give each one of you 20 seconds to make your point without interruptions, and then 15-second rebuttals, okay? And then after that, Russell and myself will make a decision. Understood? So right now, just shout out your answer. Don't say, I've got an answer. Just say it, okay? So the question is, remember, yes or no, whoever says it first gets it. Should movies stop using post-credit scenes?
Yes.
Okay, you have to go with that. Okay, so that means we're going to hear from you first, Cameron. You're going to have 20 seconds to make your argument. Are you ready? Doesn't matter. 3, 2, 1, go.
Movies should only use post-credit scenes in the event that there is something to give us at the post-credits, and not as an enticement to keep the audience there for honoring the people who made the movie itself. Done.
You have 10 seconds left. You want to use it?
I think that Marvel is the only people who should be entitled to do post-credit scenes when there's like a larger cinematic universe. Other than that, yeah, you
Time.
can't bag the audience.
Cool. Okay, and your 20 seconds starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
I don't think. Wait, what was the question again? I don't
You said no, it should still have post-credit scenes.
Okay, cool. I believe movies should still keep having post-credit scenes. I feel like the issue with post-credit scenes isn't the fact that there are too many of them. I just feel like they're being misused. There was a time where post-credit scene would give you just enough of an Easter egg to get you excited, but now it's...
Time. Okay.
You got what I was saying.
Okay, so now it's your rebuttal, 15 seconds, okay? And 3, 2, 1, go.
You can't give us something where we're not going to get excited about it anyway. And in a world of social media, you don't need post-credit scenes where you can actually just entice your audience and give them something to go on your pages.
Cool.
It worked for it. Yeah, no.
Cool. You ready? And 3, 2, 1, go.
The point of a post-credit scene isn't necessarily just the practicality of it. Yes, social media exists, but it's also a matter of this is a very interesting artistic way to let the audience know that there is more to come. And here's just a little sneak peek of the movie to come
Time.
or the movie that just happened.
Okay, I do have a clear winner. Russell, who do you think won that round?
Fucking hate post credits. Yeah, I think there was a time when they were needed, but they're not needed anymore.
But who do you think made the best argument? Okay, so that's interesting because Duncan, I think you made the best argument, which means the people behind the camera will be the tiebreaker. Duncan or Cameron?
I'm going with Cameron. I love you, Duncan. I'm sorry.
What do you say, Jeff?
I never liked you.
Okay, my bad. I fought for you.
Jeff, I never liked you.
Okay, so Duncan, that does put you in the privileged position of helping me judge them in the speed round. There will be, you've seen what it looks like. There's going to be 5 of them. You're sitting at a major lead with 3 points versus 1. You don't get a point from the tiebreaker. So yeah, it's because he didn't get to compete. So that's 3-1. There's 5 questions. The first person to get to a point where you can't be beaten wins. Okay. The first one is an open-ended answer. So just shout out your answer when you have it. Don't argue for it yet. Just shout an answer. The question is, what is the cringiest Nick Cage performance?
Oh my gosh.
The one where
Mandy.
he's the ghost, the
Ghost Rider.
fiery skull.
Okay. Name one.
Mandy.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so I heard Russell first. You're going to have 20 seconds. Your time starts now.
I had no desire to watch it, so I haven't watched the movie. It just, the CGI looks horrible.
You've got 15 more seconds?
And it just looks bad. It was panned, nobody liked it, and I've never seen it.
Okay, cool. Cameron, you have 20 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go.
Like Russell, haven't seen Mandy, but I do know that in terms of the overall aesthetic of Nick Cage, if Ghost Rider is the thing that pushed him off the cliff, Mandy was the sewage drain he had to crawl through in order to get through to the other side.
Okay, you've got 15 seconds rebuttals. Let's see if it even matters. And we'll start with Russell. 3, 2, 1, go.
Mandy was critically praised. For many, it was a return to form as he started doing far more experimental art house films, where Ghost Rider is not subtle. It's just him being a bad superhero.
Time. Okay, and Cameron, 3, 2, 1, go.
Let's Ride is the Nick Cage that we all love and fell in love with, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it is that guy which drew people to an audience like Ghost Runner, which led the foundation for the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we know today, which would not exist without Ghost Runner's bad CGI and haircuts.
Okay, time. I wish we didn't have to give points for that one, but we have to. So, Duncan, you say something first. Who do you think should get a point?
I'm still deciding, man. Can somebody please
Okay,
go first?
it's fine. I'll go first. I think the funny... I'm going to give the point to Cameron because technically Ghost Rider's his performance was not really highlighted. It was more the movie. So for that technicality, I'll give it to Cameron. What do you think?
I think I'll also give it to Cameron.
Okay, so that's a point for you. So now it's 2-3. You are slowly catching up.
This is hard, man.
Maybe.
I'm really enjoying this conversation.
I can't believe you guys are just naming movies you just haven't seen, but it's fine. A Wicker Man, other stuff.
What was the recent one?
Bees.
Long
The
Legs.
Bees. Yeah, Long Legs was so cringy to me.
You should know.
Okay. Second question. This one's close to my heart. Hopefully. Okay, it's a this or that, which means I'm going to say 2 things. Pick the better one. Okay, that's the point. If you get the other one, you have to fight for the other one. Labyrinth or Pan's Labyrinth?
Pan's Labyrinth.
Okay, you're stuck with Labyrinth. If you don't know what it is, that's your problem. Okay. Luckily, Russell's going first.
I literally, because I was about to be like, there is another thing.
Okay, Russell in 3, 2, 1, go.
Guillermo del Toro is a masterclass of monster and fantasy, and he produced one of the most incredible films of all time. I went into it blind and just loved every second of it. I forgot it was in a foreign language when I rewatched it again and realized it's in Spanish.
Okay, let's see what happens. Cameron, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so Labyrinth is a movie that I have not seen. But what I will say is that as a 1986 fantasy family film with hair, and is this David Bowie? Is this David Bowie that's
is
in the
David
movie?
Bowie.
Okay, well that is reason enough for it to be a significantly greater movie than a monster in the cabinet movie, because everything David Bowie...
Stop. I'm going to do a rare thing. Russell, you get the point. When your answers are Googled, then you lose. So, Russell, that's 4 Russell.
Straight to Wikipedia.
And 2.
Dude, that's so funny.
Okay, so there's three left, which means you have to win every single one to win.
Damn.
Okay. Question number 3. Open-ended, so just shout it out. I'm going to make this interesting. You're not allowed to name a movie that's been named in this episode. What's the best movie with the main character's name as the title?
Has to be the main character.
Yeah.
This isn't timed.
No. Well, eventually.
It has to be. It can't just be like inferential.
Johnny Darko.
Okay, that's 1. So you have to come up with one. 3, Come on, you can do this.
The Dark Knight.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. It is technically
Nah,
his
it's
alter
not his
ego.
name, man.
It
It
is.
is his name.
I'll give it because I was thinking if someone names a superhero and it's a man, I'll give it to them. Okay, for the sake of not losing on a technicality. Okay, so Russell, your 20 seconds start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Just because Donnie Darko is just it's such a unique film. It was so pioneering at its time. It is delightfully convoluted. It has launched the career of Jake Gyllenhaal, and it's just a name you can't forget. And it's a movie you can't forget if you've seen it.
Time. Okay, Cameron, in 3, 2, 1.
The reason I said The Dark Knight is because a good title in a movie like Legally Blonde clearly indicates the actual content of the movie. And The Dark Knight for that particular one in Batman is when Bruce Wayne has it the worst as Batman and still emerges as a hero within that Dark Knight when he beats the Joker.
Okay, time. Russell, rebuttal in 3, 2, 1, go.
I just don't think that The Dark Knight is as prominent as Batman. It's not the name of... It's a sort of like a pseudonym, sort of secondary line to Batman, where Donnie
Time.
Darko is Donnie Darko.
Okay, and your rebuttal in 3, 2, 1, go.
If you ask the average person on the streets who is more significant as Donnie Darko or the Dark Knight, they will say the latter.
Okay.
That's all, Your Honor.
So I'm going to immediately say that for me, this goes to Russell. Here's why. What? No. Here's why. Because when you started arguing about your movie, you're like, yeah, so Bruce Wayne, I'm like, you literally just kill your own argument by not
had
even
to give context.
calling him the thing that's the movie's
And
name.
he was talking about Legally Blonde for a while. His
So-
defense was jumbled.
If the moment no, that doesn't mean there are other people with voices here, luckily, but I just feel like if you say the movie's name is this and then you don't use that, it was Okay, Duncan, what do you think?
I'm gonna give it to Cameron. Like
Okay, see, other voices matter.
if you go to somebody and say who's gonna win in a fight, Goku or the Dark Knight. Well, okay, not Goku, but like somebody in the Dark Knight. People are gonna
I
know
didn't
exactly
know our
who you're
characters
talking
were
about.
fighting. I didn't know that was the question.
People
but-
are gonna know exactly who you're talking about. So
Okay.
I thought it was a good answer.
I'm going Cameron.
I think okay. See, other voices matter. So yeah, you thought you were losing and you came out.
straight up dying.
Jeff. Oh.
Oh, what? How did we know?
We move on to the next one.
Yeah, I guess because we don't want to once again lose on a
was a
technicality.
stalemate, yeah.
That's fine. We'll give you the point in
That
favor
means
of
that the
being-
only logical conclusion is we could tie.
No. So
if I win
currently-
both of these next rounds, we could tie.
No, because if he is currently at 3 points, correct? Now I have to factor.
No, he's at.
No, he's more.
at 3. He's at 4.
He's at 4.
He's at 4 points. I'm at 2.
And there's 2. You're right. But if you are 100% correct, if you end up at a tie at the end, we have a bonus question as a tiebreaker as well. Okay, so you have a hill to climb, but you're climbing it. Okay. Question 4. Who is the most unlikable protagonist? Say it. Just say it.
Prince of Persia.
Okay.
Cinematically.
Yeah, you're talking about the one from 2010, right? Good answer. Russell, 5.
Protagonist has to be a protagonist. Ah, fuck! I was stuck on Big Lebowski, and then I realized that
actually
John
really
Goodman
likable.
John Goodman's not the protagonist.
Got a final nothing. And that's a it's a forfeit. So that means he gets the point. You couldn't name
I
anything.
found that, because I was just trying to think of with the name
was
movie.
too
I was trying to
stuck
think
on
of the lady, the Julia Roberts movie.
Not.
You could have honestly at that point said any movie.
And just try. But good one. I think that's a good
I was
answer.
too stuck.
Pretty
that's
pretty lady.
Yeah, no, man. What's the one where she's a prostitute? Are you thinking about
No,
that?
that's Pretty Woman. I'm talking about the movie where it's a full name. What's the?
Oh, Aaron Brockovich.
Aaron Brockovich.
Okay. So that's 3-4. Final question, and then let's see what happens. Very easy. This or that. Pick the one you want. We're fighting for best. Shrek or Shrek 2?
Shrek 2.
Okay, so you're going with Shrek, and I heard from you first, Russell. Cameron. 3, 2, 1, go.
Shrek walked so that Shrek 2 could run, and it ran all the way to Hollywood with a giant bomb of "This is reality" and just shoved it in its face with a banging soundtrack, banging established characters, and a plot that really carried over and had a lot of heart.
Cool. Russell, 3, 2, 1, go for it.
when you talk about Shrek, you talk about Shrek. You talk about the first one. All the sequels were nice, but they all blur into each other. I can't tell you the difference between all of them. The original, the fundamental one that started it all, has to be considered the most groundbreaking and the most special.
Okay. And Cameron, 15 seconds in 3, 2, 1, go for it.
So Shrek was groundbreaking, but what Shrek 2 did that Shrek 1 definitely did not do is it squared us up with a very, 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 very formidable opponent in the form of Prince Charming. So if you understand the history of Shrek, it was designed as a...
Time.
It's just an extra character. It's just a continuation of the universe. But the whole thing was started by the first one. I mean, you have to see the first one as the most important.
Okay, time. I'm gonna, just because I think you elaborated more, I'll give this one to Cameron. What do you think?
I'm gonna give it to Cameron because Shrek 2 is just the best one for me.
No, is it his argument? I'm not that he's wrong.
Okay.
Not opinions.
No, his argument is
Okay,
also
that's
bad.
fine. It's cool. I'm just saying, because Shrek 1 is
Soundtrack
by
and
far my
everything.
favorite of the two. But
Maybe I saw it, I don't remember it.
they're both really good. Okay, so that means you have climbed the mountain, and there's one tiebreaker question.
Oh, didn't think I'd get here.
Yeah,
Pre-match commentary.
so this is make or break.
Okay.
What is the worst movie to watch with your parents?
Requiem for a Dream.
Oh, good.
The superhero movie.
Okay. Okay, so I heard Russell first. 20 seconds in 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh my god, there's awkward sex scenes, like the most explicit sex scenes. Descent into madness and drug-fueled chaos. It is depressing, and it'll only make your parents, specifically your parents, worry about whether you are taking drugs, and they will.
Time. Okay, Cameron, 3, 2, 1, go.
We're speaking from personal experience. I just know that in that age of spoof movies, when you're trying to convince your family to go out with you because these superhero movies are cool and they're getting better, and you get a movie where the lead character is basically just trying to work his way through puberty and gets like a phallic symbol thrown in the main guy's face as the bomb in the end. There's a whole lot of sex
Time.
jokes.
Okay, Russell, 3, 2, 1, go.
Your parents are used to those stupid lame jokes. They'll be fine. But what they are really worried about is whether or not you are going to derail your life. And they are going to hate the idea of young people taking drugs, young people having sex with each other.
And final 15 seconds, 3, 2, 1, go.
And the other controversy, the Requiem for a Dream, your parents might look at it and be like, wow, this is a very astute person who can understand that these things like awkward sex and taking drugs are wrong, and I am very happy that my kids are watching these movies. I'm very concerned why they are mindlessly laughing at sex
Time.
jokes.
I actually think you both did a really good job.
Yeah, good.
I'm gonna give this one to Russell because I think he carefully constructed why it would make your parents feel the way they do. Duncan?
Yeah, Russell as well. He just articulated it very clearly.
Which means the main character of this episode is Russell, our victor. Guys, you crushed
Lots
it.
of fun.
Yeah,
Worthy of
honestly,
applause. Very cool.
honestly, it's crazy how well all of you held up, Duncan included. There was no clear winner from the first question, so you guys fought really well. Before we wrap up, let's quickly hear from all of you. Cameron, please plug whatever you want to plug. Tell the people where to find you and whatever you're busy with.
I think I'm just plugging movies in general. I think the reason we're all here is because of just the love of cinema. And even in this episode, I think we've unpacked just what that can mean on so many different fronts. From making your parents concerned or teaching your parents something, connecting with foreign films or educating aliens, or just, experiencing things that are just common around the world and have a lot of heart. I think it's a deep desire of mine that in my life to be able to contribute to that growing body of work. Is something that I want to do. So really grateful to be on this show and to have such insightful people next to me. And this was stressful and actually, very, very driven. So shout out AGDG.
That's awesome. And obviously we'll put all the social medias and stuff in the descriptions and everything. Duncan, tell us about yourself, what you want to plug.
First of all, I just want to say thank you guys for inviting me. This was a lot of fun.
And you didn't do that bad, okay? You see, now you were
It's
stressed
the cameras.
out and you killed it.
The conversation I knew it was gonna be a good time, but it's just the cameras. I'm not used to this. I'm literally always the guy behind the camera. So yeah, thanks guys. That was a very good competition. I hope there's another time. And I don't have anything for myself to plug, but I often collaborate with or work with a creator who goes by Craig Great. So you guys can go subscribe to his YouTube channel, Creating with K Great. Creating spelled with a K.
Yeah, we'll put it here as well. We know him, we love him, and he was
on episode 4.
Yes, you are correct. So please do go check him out. And please, Russell, tell us all about your stuff.
Come and watch movies at the Bioscope. If you live in Johannesburg or greater Johannesburg area, I just love films and I love movies and I love the idea of going to a cinema and sitting in the dark. And so come and choose to watch your movies at the Bioscope. And every week as the video store, we have a very similar energy where we're debating and just talking about the movies that we love. So the video store is available wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can vouch for that. Really good podcast. And it's an honor to have you on here. It feels like a crossover episode.
It's lovely, yeah.
Yeah, so thank you once again so much, guys. We also just want to say thank you to Tabadin, who made these lovely empty cocktails. Apparently Cameron doesn't like his, but we'll forgive him.
I took straight ginger at one point.
No, that is
so it was really, really delicious. But as things were getting heated
I
up,
feel
my throat's
so
dry
healthy.
now. Yeah.
And we also want to say thank you to God, who made this possible and always gives us an opportunity to meet awesome people like this who love movies just as much as we do. And essentially, even if you take the movies out of it, it's just great to talk to people like this. And on that note, don't forget to subscribe and watch everything we put out. Who cares? All that stuff. We love you all very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.